Batman Gotham's Night Number 2. Extinguish Fire. Saga 1, Gods, Monsters, and Mortals, Part 1, Mortals. The Batcave was quiet except for the hum of the Bat computer. Pinned across Batman's investigation board were photographs of burned buildings, chemical analyses, maps of Gotham, and a picture of one man, Garfield Lins. Bruce stood in front of the board while Alfred approached, carrying a fresh pot of coffee. "You've been at this all night, sir." Batman didn't turn around. "I've put it together." Alfred set the tray down. "You believe you've discovered his motive?" Bruce nodded. "He isn't choosing buildings at random." He tapped a photograph of the Monarch Theater. The Monarch Theater. Another photograph. The Gotham Opera House. A third. Panessa Studios. He drew a line connecting all three. They all lead back to one man. Alfred looked at the file. "Ed Sprang," Batman nodded. "Garfield Lins worked as a lighting and pyrotechnics technician for Sprang's entertainment company." He opened another report. Several years ago, there was a fire at Panessa Studios. Alfred remembered the incident. It was ruled an accident. It was. Batman enlarged photographs from the investigation. The lighting above one of the sound stages had been improperly installed. He pointed toward engineering notes. The studio had been cutting corners to save money. The wiring wasn't repaired correctly. When Lins activated the pyrotechnics during filming, Bruce tapped the burned electrical fixture. The faulty lighting ignited. The fire spread before anyone could stop it. Alfred quietly nodded. And Mr. Lins accepted the blame. Ed Sprang. Batman Gotham's Night Number 2, Extinguish Fire. Saga 1, Gods, Monsters, and Mortals, Part 1, Mortals. The Batcave was quiet. Only the hum of computers and the distant sound of water dripping through the cavern filled the darkness. Batman stood before the evidence board. Pictures of burning buildings covered the screen. The Monarch Theater, Panessa Studios, Gotham Opera House, Rock City Nightclub. Each location connected by a single name. Garfield Lins. Alfred stood nearby, holding a cup of tea. "Master Bruce, you've been staring at those photographs for nearly 3 hours." Batman didn't answer immediately. His eyes remained focused on the pattern. "He's not choosing locations randomly." Alfred looked toward the board. "Then what is the connection?" Batman stepped closer. "People." He pointed toward the Monarch Theater. "This building belonged to Ed Sprang. Then the Gotham Opera House, also owned by Sprang. Then Panessa Studios, where Lins worked." Alfred adjusted his glasses. "So this is personal." Batman nodded. "Lins isn't trying to destroy Gotham. He is trying to punish people." Bruce pulled up an old employee file. Garfield Lin, former lighting technician, pyrotechnics specialist, demolition safety consultant. Garfield Lins worked for Ed Sprang's production company. Alfred looked at the screen. "Until the accident." Batman nodded. "Panessa Studios." The image changed. A burned section of the studio. "Years ago, there was a fire there." Alfred looked surprised. "I remember hearing about it. It was reported as an accident." Batman zoomed in on the investigation report. The fire started from a damaged light fixture. He pointed toward the notes. "At the time, Panessa Studios was cutting corners. They ignored repairs to save money." Bruce continued. "Lins was responsible for lighting and pyrotechnics during productions." Alfred understood. He was working with fire without realizing the danger around him. "Exactly." Batman looked at the photograph of Garfield. He didn't start the fire. He couldn't have known the equipment wasn't properly repaired. Alfred sighed. "But Ed Sprang blamed him." Batman nodded. "Sprang fired him. And Lins believes he ruined his life." Bruce changed the screen. A picture of Cassidy DeVito appeared. The nightclub was different. Alfred looked at the image. His ex-girlfriend worked there. Batman nodded. "She told me something important." "What was that?" "Garfield wanted to ruin the lives of everyone against him." Alfred looked at the evidence. So every fire was revenge. Batman stared at the flames in the photographs. Not revenge. A pause. Punishment. The police scanner suddenly activated. "Attention all units. Fire reported at Gotham Docks, Warehouse District." Batman immediately turned toward the signal. "Alfred, I already have the location." Alfred typed on the computer. "Warehouse belongs to." He stopped. "Garfield Lin's former employer." Batman grabbed his cape. "He's escalating." The docks were already burning when Batman arrived. A massive warehouse collapsed as firefighters battled the flames. Batman entered through a broken side entrance. The heat was intense. His cowl analyzed the remains, gasoline, then something stronger, napalm. Batman looked around. This wasn't like the previous fires. This was meant to destroy everything. He searched through the ashes. Among the burned remains, he found something. Blueprints. Mostly destroyed, but still readable. Batman carefully examined them. A new house, construction plans, a neighborhood location. Then he saw the name, Garfield Lynns. His eyes narrowed. This isn't over. Back at the Batcave, Batman studied the blueprints. He's going after someone else. Alfred looked concerned. Who? Batman enlarged the plans. The person who built his new home. Another former employer? Bruce nodded. He wants them to lose everything. Before Alfred could respond, the police scanner activated again. A new report. Fire emergency. Fire station under attack. Batman froze. A fire station. Not a person. Not a company. A symbol. He got distracted. Alfred looked confused. Master Bruce? Batman was already moving. He stopped following his plan. Now he's just burning. The fire station was surrounded by flames. Firefighters desperately attempted to contain the blaze. A figure stood in the middle of the street wearing a protective fire suit. A flamethrower rested in his hands. Garfield Lynns. He laughed as flames reflected across his helmet. They save people from fire, his voice echoed. Let's see how they like being trapped by it. Batman landed behind him. No. Lynns turned, slowly. You. Batman stepped forward. Garfield Lynns. A smile appeared beneath the helmet. You know my name. I know what happened. The smile disappeared. You don't know anything. I know you lost everything. I know people blamed you. I know they abandoned you. Batman continued. But this isn't justice. Lynns raised his weapon. No, it's correction. Batman moved before he could fire. The fight was fast. Garfield used his equipment like a weapon. Fire exploded across the street. Batman avoided each attack, using the environment against him. A smoke bomb, a grappling line, a quick strike. Within moments, Lynns was disarmed. Batman removed his weapon. The fire suit was taken apart. Garfield struggled. You think this changes anything? Batman looked at him. It stops you from hurting anyone else. Minutes later, police sirens approached, but Batman was already gone. Garfield Lynns was left tied securely to a light post outside the station. A note was attached. Garfield Lynn, responsible for recent arsons. The next morning, the Gotham Gazette covered every television screen in the city. A reporter stood outside the destroyed fire station. After a string of mysterious fires throughout Gotham, police have arrested Garfield Lynns, a former pyrotechnics expert. The screen showed images of Lynns' equipment. Authorities believe Lynns was responsible for targeting several businesses and individuals connected to his past. The reporter looked at the camera. Due to his use of fire-based weapons and his obsession with flames, investigators are calling him. A newspaper headline appeared. The Firefly strikes Gotham, Firefly. Inside Wayne Manor, Bruce watched the report silently. Alfred stood beside him. A rather fitting name. Bruce looked away from the screen. The fire was never the problem. Alfred waited. It was what he believed it gave him. Bruce looked toward Gotham. Power. Outside, the city continued moving. Crime continued. Danger continued. But now Gotham knew something else existed in the shadows. Not just a criminal. Not just a detective. A guardian. End of Batman Gotham's Night number 2, Extinguish Fire. Next issue, Batman Gotham's Night number 3, Gotham's criminal families begin to realize the Batman is changing the rules, while a new threat begins to rise from the city's underworld. GCPD, Report Number 1. Case file Garfield Lynns, subject alias Firefly. Recorded by Detective Renee Montoya. Location, Gotham City Police Department Evidence Division. Classification, Criminal Investigation Recording. Date, 11:43 p.m. Recorded by Detective Renee Montoya, Gotham City Police Department. This is Detective Renee Montoya. Recording official evidence review for the criminal case of Garfield Lynns, currently being held in GCPD custody. Known aliases, Garfield Lynns. No previous official criminal aliases. However, due to recent events, several media outlets have begun referring to him as Firefly. Personally, I don't usually agree with criminals getting names from the press, but considering what this guy did, I understand why it stuck. Case summary. Over the last several weeks, Gotham City experienced a series of coordinated arson attacks targeting multiple locations. The first confirmed incident occurred at the Gotham Monarch Theater. Initial investigation revealed the use of gasoline as an accelerant. No fingerprints were recovered. No witnesses identified a suspect. No obvious motive was discovered at the time. The second incident occurred at Panessa Studios. Evidence recovered: gasoline residue, petroleum-based accelerants, fire damage consistent with deliberate ignition. Further investigation revealed that Garfield Lins was previously employed at Panessa Studios as a lighting technician and pyrotechnic specialist. At the time of his employment, a fire occurred at the studio. The official report classified the incident as accidental. Cause: faulty lighting equipment. However, Lins was involved because his job required him to operate both lighting systems and pyrotechnics during productions. The investigation at the time did not find him responsible. Despite that, he lost his job. Third incident, Gotham Opera House. Same pattern. Accelerants discovered: gasoline, liquid petroleum. The building's ownership records connected the location to Edward Sprang. Further investigation revealed Sprang was also connected to Panessa Studios. This was the first major link between the fires. Fourth incident, Rock City nightclub. Witness: Cassidy DeVito, a civilian performer. Miss DeVito survived the fire due to intervention from the unidentified vigilante known as Batman. Yes, I said Batman. Before this report becomes part of official records, I want it noted. I understand that Batman is technically a wanted unidentified individual. However, based on witness statements and recovered evidence, his actions during this incident saved lives. That's something this department should acknowledge. Recovered evidence from Rock City: chemical traces found, gasoline, nitroglycerine. A broken glass bottle was recovered from the scene. Initial assumption: possible delivery method for the accelerant. The bottle was sent for forensic examination. No fingerprints were found. However, a small biological sample was discovered: saliva. The DNA was matched through the GCPD criminal database. The result: Garfield Lins. Final incident, Gotham Docks warehouse fire. The warehouse belonged to another former employer of Lins. Evidence recovered: gasoline, napalm residue, damaged construction blueprints. The blueprints appear to show a residential property currently under construction. Investigators believe Lins intended to target another individual connected to his past. Before that could happen, Batman intervened. Suspect profile: name, Garfield Lins. Occupation history: lighting technician, pyrotechnic specialist, fire safety consultant. Skills: fire chemistry, explosive materials, electrical systems, construction knowledge. Psychological evaluation pending. Current assessment: subject demonstrates signs of obsession, resentment, and a desire for retaliation against individuals he believes caused his suffering. Important note: Lins does not appear to be motivated by financial gain. His actions are personal. He is not stealing. He is not trying to expand territory. He is trying to make people suffer. Recovered equipment. Evidence collected from Lins includes one custom fire-resistant suit. Purpose: protection from extreme heat. Additional equipment: modified flamethrower system, chemical containers, ignition devices, fire-resistant materials, homemade accelerant mixtures. The equipment suggests extensive preparation. This was not a crime of opportunity. This was planned. Additional note regarding Batman: there's been debate inside this department regarding the unidentified vigilante. Some officers believe he is another criminal. Some believe he creates more problems than he solves. I understand those concerns. But reviewing this case, I have to admit something. Batman found connections we missed. He identified the pattern, he located the suspect, and he prevented another attack. I am not saying he replaces the police. He doesn't. But maybe Gotham needs someone willing to go into places we can't. Final case status: suspect Garfield Lins, alias Firefly. Status: in GCPD custody. Charges: multiple counts of arson, attempted murder, possession of illegal incendiary devices, destruction of property, terroristic threats. Evidence collected and secured. Case active. Detective Renee Montoya, Gotham City Police Department. End recording. GCPD archive entry, case file closed. Firely arson investigation status, pending trial.